Hi there, everyone. This is Sharon for another conscious sharing moment. And so remember to like and share these conscious sharing moments. And these conscious sharing moments are pretty much like life hacks, aha moments, revelations that I feel that pretty much will help other people. Sometimes it can be conversations I've had with others. But anyway, definitely make sure you like and share, and also make sure you put in the comments, what you think about the topics. And if you want any additional topics, definitely let me know that as well, and I can talk about those things. And so, this conscious sharing moments is about internal resources. I may have talked about it before in the past, but it's kind of one of those things, to be honest, when it comes to conscious sharing moment, period, in that most of it really is the fact that it's all internal anyway. Everything I've talked about is everything, about our thoughts, about our feelings, about our emotions, about our body, what's going on with us. All of it is about our internal resources. So the question is, can you tap into your internal resources when you need it? I know there are times I would like to say majority of the time that I can, but there are sure some times that I've discovered, I can't even find the well water for my own internal resources. But one thing that I will tell you is that even when you have moments where you feel like that you're not able to tap into your own internal resources, and that is, the part of yourself that can soothe yourself, can settle yourself, can ground yourself, that can center yourself. And if anything, where it will make you feel like that everything is so out of control outside of you, even if you are, like reacting, being activated, and everything of that sort. And so just know that you will be okay. It may not feel like it, because that's because the way that the body works, it really is. It just goes to so many different things, and it kind of take control of you to a certain extent. And that is why self-care is so important, to help you settle yourself, because the more that you're settled, when things hit the fan, even when you're activated, you're triggered so much that you're able to come back even sooner. Like, even if you may feel like you don't you may not have it together, because the thing is, you may not even know it at that particular time. I kind of call those, those knee-jerk reactions. Most of us have them. I see it, even for those of us who are doing the work. Sometimes something just will just hit us in a way that we may have thought that we resolved, or didn't even realize that something, would hit us. Sometimes it's not always the person who's doing the hitting that not actually hitting. It's kind of like emotionally hitting. And sometimes it's not even that they're doing it on purpose. Sometimes people are truly being themselves, or they're doing their own self-care, or they're just in their own world. And so we're kind of like almost all on kind of different spaces, from time to time. But the main thing is that you're able to recognize your needs. You're able to recognize where you are. You're able to be able to hear yourself, because you got to hear yourself first before you're able to hear anyone else. Because if you're not able to hear yourself, you're going to have a really hard time of hearing others. And so the other thing is, when it comes to internal resources, a lot of times we look for something outside of ourselves, like especially like, say, if you're at work, if you're working, then your human resource, will have, and your supervisor is like, will have a lot of resources for you. And so they will consider those to be the internal resources. Oh, yes, we have internal resources that we can give you, but they're still outside of you. And not to say that those things are not beneficial, because a lot of times they are beneficial and they are needed, but at times they may not always be accessible. But when it comes to you, you're always able to access yourself. And this is why it's so important. This is why self care is so beneficial. And again, we hear the little saying, oh, we're not talking about, the massages and going to the spa and chocolate. I'm like, yes, it includes that. And so, because some of those things, especially when it comes to massage, and you've heard me say this before, is that they help settle the body. They help your body especially when it comes to the parasympathetic part of your nervous system. It helps settle you. It really does when it comes to your nervous system. And that's a piece that people just don't understand. People think like massages. I can remember growing up thinking that a massage was a luxury, like, oh, only people with money can, have this thing called a massage. Like, what is this? But what I have come to learn, even though I've had massages years, but I would say once I started learning more in depth of the body and more in depth about trauma and more in depth about embodiment practices, and especially the nervous system, because so many things are activated when it comes to our nervous system. It's almost like it's the thing that drives us, that drives our health mentally, physically, even spiritually. And so this is why it's so important to be able to settle, because this is where self-awareness come into play. You can say, okay, so when someone says this or someone says that, because it's not the who, it's the what. Sometimes it can be the who, but majority of the time it's the what. So if this thing is the thing that activate, then you look at that thing so that you can learn how to settle yourself down, how to soothe yourself. Because most of the time, that's what triggers are all about. They just let us know certain parts of ourselves that need to be nurtured a little bit more, paid a little bit more attention, something we may need to let go of. And so, again, when it comes to the internal resources, they allow you to be in alignment with yourself. They allow you to be in alignment with your mind, with your body, with your spirit. Because without them, you can have all the external resources as you want. But if they're not able to pretty much, like get in touch with you, then they're not going to be beneficial in any way if you're not in a place where you can really hear and see and feel the external resources. So you still need to tap in within yourself so that you can get through all of these things. And again, get all the resources that you need. I say both types of the internal resources, the internal resources at your job, but more so the internal resources within yourself, because those are the things that are going to truly get you through. Because when you're able to soothe yourself, to settle yourself, then you're able to get through anything. And it takes practice for some individuals. The other thing that I would say about internal resources is that it can allow you to have more clarity. It can allow you to be able to have a vision. It can allow you to be able to see in the future. Because the other thing is that if we're staying so much in the past, we're not able to see the future, then we're going to always be activated anyway. So that's the other thing, is to at least do the work so that if there's anything internally that you need to clean up or clean out, go ahead and do that. Even though I make it sound like it's all easy and everything, yes, there's work to be done. And sometimes it's not the easiest thing. And for some people, do need the support of others, like a therapist or a life coach, whatever it is that you may need. But at the end of the day, one thing I've discovered, especially working in the mental health arena, even though you can have some insight, but you still are the one who is doing the work. You're still the one who has to have the realization, because someone can tell you something all day long, but if you don't see it, if you don't see it, or if you don't feel it, then you're not going to be able, that transformation is not going to happen. And so, again, when it comes to your internal resources, have these self care strategies in place so that you can live a fully lived life because things can be happening on the left, but you can also enjoy what's on the right at the same time. That's what it's all about, is to hopefully to be in a place where even when things go left, that it doesn't distract you with your mission, with your goals, with your passion, with your purpose, so that you can be in a place where you can be a blessing to others, because sometimes it's hard to be a blessing to others when you're not in a good space, a good place within yourself. And so you are the captain of your ship, and you are the captain of this internal ship. So, if anything, make sure that you continue to invest in yourself so that you can do the things that you were meant to do and you can have a fully lived life and really, really, really to be able to not just go out in the world, but to be of the world wherever you are. So, again, thank you for watching this conscious sharing moment. Remember to like and share, and also let me know what your thoughts are about this conscious sharing moment.